We got a big one tonight, kids. A very big one indeed. Your New Jersey Devils heading down the turnpike, an all too familiar road, headed down the turnpike, heading into Philadelphia, looking for a massive, massive win, coming off the thriller in Montreal. It was a little too close for comfort, a little tighter than we would have liked, given that we had multiple 2-goal leads throughout the game. But your New Jersey Devils found a way, persevered, and Jack finished it in overtime. Heading into a big one, Flyers looking for points as well. This one will not be easy. It will not be a walk in the park by any stretch. They are going to be looking to win this one, as are your New Jersey Devils, and hopefully they find a way to come out victorious. The big news coming out of the day is that the Devils will be, unfortunately, without Captain Nicohischier. As you all know, he took a cross-check in that Montreal game and will not be playing tonight. They said he was day-to-day. I'm hoping that, we see him back in action sooner than later. I was hoping he wasn't going to miss any time, but that may have been, a little overly optimistic. And we are without the captain tonight. Jackhughes did not practice today, but he will be playing in the game, obviously nursing that finger. They thought it was better to keep him off the ice and just save him up for the game. So we will see Jack. And the lines for tonight, pretty interesting. We're going to see Palat with Jack and Bratt once again reunited. And the second line, my man Dawson Mercer, the utility man that so many of you have hated on. I don't understand the Dawson Mercer hate from a lot of people. He doesn't get paid a ton of money, and the kid can play all, situations. We don't have many guys that you could put out there at any point and be comfortable with him being out there, whether it's on the power play, penalty kill, protecting a lead late. I'm a Dawson Mercer guy, and I am here to tell you guys that you don't go far in the playoffs without guys like Dawson Mercer. I think he is vastly underappreciated by a majority of the fan base that unfortunately just looks at, points. A lot of people just, when they're assessing a player, they just look at straight up points, and there's so much more to the game than just the points. But Dawson Mercer, I'm big on the guy. And again, you need guys like him in your lineup to go far in the playoffs. I hope he's around for a while and part of this, extended core, if you will, that hopefully skates one or multiple Stanley Cups for your New Jersey Devils. But Mercer set back at center, where he started off his career, centering Timo Meier and Stefan Nason. Obviously, Mercer and Timo have looked good in the couple games that they have appeared in together. Whatever it is between those two, I think that's a duo worth, riding with for the somewhat near future and maybe long-term, depending on how everything else shakes out. But Timo and Mercer seem to have something going. And then you got Nason on the other wing. So you got Mercer centering two bullies up front. I think that line is going to be one to watch on the evening. I'm super pumped for that. I think they're going to bring the pain. Hopefully they generate some goals to the Devils and they come out with a big win in Philly. And then the third line is going to be interesting as well. My man, Brian Hallinan, a guy that you all know I have been pleading for weeks to get a call up. We saw tons of Utica guys called up early on in the season when both Laser and Bastian were out. And, we got tons of guys called up, and Hallinan seemingly wasn't going to get his chance. Finally, he was brought up last week. He played a game, then he was sent right back down. The injury bug has hit the Devils again, and with that, Brian Hallinan will be on the third line with Dowling and Cotter. I think that could be an interesting line as well. I wanted to see Hallinan get a couple games. I wanted to see him more than just the one game. I thought he looked pretty good in the game he played in. Back on the third line with Dowling at center and Cotter on the other wing. And then the fourth line, Tatar, Lazar, and Bastian. Obviously, Tatar, what a shift. What a shift in that last game where he was just flying all over the place, crushing people. And he got rewarded, all over, battling for loose pucks, knocked the guy down, went flying back to the net. There was a loose puck, and he was a man possessed on that shift, and it finished with him jumping in the crease and pouncing on that loose puck for his 5th goal of the season. Hopefully we see some more grinder kind of goals out of that fourth line. If they could contribute, even, I'm not asking for a fourth line goal every game, but if every other game, every few games, they could chip in with a big one, it would obviously help a lot given that the Devils have struggled to score goals, up until the Bruins game, obviously on Jacques Lemaire Ring of Honor night, where the Devils exploded for a 5-piece at the Rock. And then obviously 4 against the Canadiens, but going to be an interesting one. Jake Allen getting the nod back in net as expected. Big game for the Devils, guys. Huge game for the Devils. Let me just see exactly where. Yeah, I mean, the Flyers have 50 points. The second wild card spot is 55. So, I mean, they're still right in this thing. I think the only team I could definitively say is out of it is the Sabres, to be honest. But even the Penguins with 48 points, I mean, wow. Penguins most likely are going to have a lot of trouble passing all these teams as well. And probably the Islanders too. But listen, if anybody could go on a 4 or 5 game winning streak or win 6 out of 8, 7 out of 9, something like that, you could get right back in the mix. As I've said a million times before, the wild card is going to be an absolute dogfight, and it probably will be decided on the last day of the season. There will be teams vying for one of those wild card spots probably on the last day. Going to be an interesting one. Hopefully your New Jersey Devils are not one of them, and that they are securely in the top 3 in the Metro. As it stands right now, they've fallen back points percentage-wise from the Hurricanes quite a bit. Devils are at 608. Hurricanes are at 640, and the Washington Capitals continue to amaze and somehow are playing 724 hockey through nearly the end of January into February. I mean, no one had that whatsoever. Capitals have to be one of the biggest stories of the season in terms of overachieving, if you will. But Flyers desperately need these points. Your New Jersey Devils also desperately need these points. And this is a big Metropolitan Division showdown tonight, live from Philadelphia, the Wells Fargo Center. And let's see what you guys are talking about. I've rambled on here enough. I'm jacked up for this game, though. Keeping up with the Devils, will we finally see a 4-game winning streak? We need to beat these guys twice. That would be something. And especially led by Jake Allen, right? For Jake Allen to rattle off 4 wins would be amazing. Aside from, the current standings and needing to continue to rack up wins and pile up points, as many of you know, the New Jersey Devils have not won 4 consecutive games in over 2 calendar years. It was January 14th of 2023. We're 2 weeks past the 2-year marker. Unbelievable. They've won 3 in a row so many times. I believe they've done it 4 times this year alone. And from then till now, there's been a bunch of chances to win that 4th game. And for whatever reason, it always evades them. I would love to see it. Let's just get tonight. Let's get the win tonight and make it 3 in a row, and then we could start talking about the 4 in a row. But I would absolutely love to see it. Brendan plays, I'm so scared about faceoffs. Let's go, boys. Mercer's going to have a huge role tonight. Absolutely. Absolutely. Aside from everything else he does, Nicohischier, obviously our best faceoff guy, takes all the crucial draws. Not available in this one tonight, and Mercer's going to have to step up. He's going to, I'm sure, be taking a lot of those. And I'm curious to see kind of how he responds to not only the faceoffs, but how does he do now making the transition back to center, a position he has not been utilized in by the Devils in quite some time. I don't know. I don't think he played center at all last year. And maybe he played a couple games in 22-23, but he hasn't been utilized as a center whatsoever. I like the move when you have a guy that can play both, and Paul Cotter's another one of them. Cotter has played center in the past as well. And so if they are open to the possibility of moving Mercer back to center for any sort of duration, and the same with Cotter, with some tweaks at the deadline or before then, whenever they come, you have a lot of options in terms of your forward line combinations. I mean, wow, with guys that can play center and wing, it's a world of possibilities. Brian J. Oh boy, can it be Timo? Who will score a big one tonight? Write it down. I would love to see Timo Meier score. You all know I love Timo Meier. I defended him from all the hate, including from Brian J. and many others. I think it's ridiculous. Timo is a bull of a man. Overall, our forward group is not that physical. Timo is one of the only guys that does bring that element. And what a play by him in that overtime to spring Jack Hughes on the breakaway. What a monster play in a big moment by Timo Meier. I'm hoping we get to the playoffs and we see a massive coming out party for Timo in the playoffs. Amagi, if Timo scores, I'll scare the neighborhood with my screams. You won't be the only one. You will not be the only one, because I will be rabid. I will be going ballistic. If Timo Meier buries one tonight, there may not be anyone happier in the tri-state area than your boy Ace. You all know I love Timo. He's been snake bitten lately. He had that goal disallowed in, I think it was Carolina. One of those games. Had that goal disallowed for the phantom Stefan Nason goaltender interference. And I would love nothing more than for Timo Meier to have a monster game. What's going on, Sophia? Thanks for the ladies shout out. Yeah, I always forget. I'm not going to lie. It's not on purpose. I always default to fellas, and I'm like, we have a couple resident ladies that pop in here, so I can't forget about the ladies. Shout out to you, Sophia. Hopefully we see a Big Devils win tonight. Jackson, first line is Riff. The McDermott is were you looking at the thing from Amanda Stein? McDermott obviously is not playing the first line center. He's a fill-in. He's a body in practice that they just kind of threw there. I'm sure he got a kick out of that at the practice, but he will not be there, obviously, for the game. And as it stands, or it seemingly stands, from the rest of the lineups, that he will not be in this game tonight. I mean, I'm hoping to see McDermott soon. You guys all know I like McDermott as well. Old school fan, love the rough stuff, love the fisticuffs, and I do feel that teams have been getting away with a lot of liberties and kind of doing cheap stuff to the boys in recent games, and there's been no response. It is a little disheartening to see, Nico get cross-checked and other kinds of cheap things that are not retaliated upon. Once upon a time in New Jersey Devils history, if you did this stuff, if you ran Marty in net, if you did any of this, there was tons of guys. The guys couldn't wait to start jumping on people. It seems like we've been, a far cry from those teams these days, but the cheap stuff cannot stand. I'm hoping to see heavier, edgier, more violent New Jersey Devils tonight, guys. They should be pretty pissed after the Flyers embarrassed them a little over a week ago in our own arena. We generated 13 shots and we looked like absolute dog do. And maybe a game like this is the type of game to kind of snap them out of the, I guess, low-level physicality games. The Flyers might come out throwing the body hard, and we're going to have to respond. I would love us to be the initiators of it. I always talk about being proactive versus reactive. I would love the Devils to come out and be like, we're going to punish you guys tonight and smash you out of the building. Maybe the heavier, edgier, more violent New Jersey Devils will reemerge, and tonight would be an excellent opportunity for them to do so. Keeping up with the Devils, come on, boys, do it for Nico. Yeah, they need a win, and to do it for the captain. Our injured captain, man, I hope he comes back soon, because if we're without him for any length of time, you guys already know it's not a good situation. Gem Card Collector, Ace, you are the man. We need this win today. Also free Yegerov. Thank you for that, Gem Card. We obviously do need this win desperately. And the free Yegerov, for those of you that might not be aware, Devils highly ranked prospect in net, Mikhail Yegerov, left Omaha and reported to BU for the beginnings of his collegiate journey and career under head coach, former New Jersey Devil legend, Jay Pandolfo. Yegerov is now a Boston Terrier. He was playing in his first game the other night, and he went out to do a rookie lap, and the team was penalized for it. It's a whole long thing. You could look into it, but basically there's very strict rules, NCAA rules, when the home team hits the ice, when the visiting team hits the ice, when the officials hit the ice. And because he was doing the rookie lap, he went out on the ice a couple minutes too early, and you get a bench minor for it. Somehow no one knew. That is Jay Pandolfo's responsibility, but I mean, wow. What a nonsense rule to get a bench minor for going on the ice early. Boston, they're playing Boston College, their big rival. Boston College starts the game with the power play as a result, and they score on it. And that was the only goal Yegerov gave up the whole game. BU lost 2-0. The second goal is an empty net, but Yegerov, I saw some clips. He looked pretty damn good in the game, and he is going to be one of the many guys vying for that net in New Jersey in the post-Jacob Markstrom era, whenever that happens. Keep an eye on Yegerov, hoping to catch a game at BU at some point. Nicole Lee, ladies, shout out. Appreciate it. I can't forget you either, Nicole. We have a couple ladies in here. Maybe there's some other ones that aren't as vocal, but obviously appreciate you and Sophia being active participants in the chat. So again, I don't try. Sometimes I have to, correct it after the fact. I always default in my brain. There's only dudes in here, but no, we have some resident ladies as well. So shout out to you guys. MK, chomp on this. Let's go Devils. Let's go Devils. RJ, how about Bratter getting back on track with a goal? I mean, RJ, what do you mean back on track? Did you miss the last game? Jesper Bratt was flying high out there. He made an amazing play on the first goal to Nico, just ripping through the defense, backhanded pass down low to Nico. And then the second goal was all him, where he just was using his body to shield the puck, did a full rotation from the wing all the way around the back of the net, came out in front and ripped a beautiful backhander. And Jesper Bratt, guys, one of the most underappreciated players in the league. and he's amazing. He's been the Devils' most consistent and best forward for the past few seasons. Love me some Bratter, and obviously maybe he's going to have to pull some extra weight today with Nico out of the lineup. Ralph, Devils will win 4-1. I would love to see. I'll gladly take any Devils win. A 4-1 variety would be phenomenal, and one that we don't have to be on the edge of our seats while I breathe into an oxygen machine in the final moments would be phenomenal. Just to coast to a win. We haven't seen it too often. I love those varieties where it's just like, we got this game in the bag. It hasn't happened too much as of late, but I always prefer those types of games than the ones that, may put me into a cardiac event. Keeping up with the Devils, Brad had a great game against Montreal. You're damn right he did. Husky Unchained, what's going on? Let's go Devils. Colin 226, their fans will be doing Eagles chants all night. Oof, they don't care about hockey right now. I'm not a huge football guy. I am a casual Giants fan. I root for all the home teams. Giants, one of the home teams. They're a disaster right now. And, I hate all Philly sports, obviously, because of stemming from the Flyers, but also the Eagles. And they probably will be doing Eagles chants. I mean, wow. Going to the Super Bowl again, facing off against Mahomes and the Chiefs again. And I can only hope that Mahomes defeats them once again. DK, nice hoodie, bro. Where'd you cop that? This one I got in the team store maybe, I think, last season. I can't keep track, guys. I have a Devils apparel problem, and I am just forever buying Devils apparel that I don't really need. But I saw it, and I was like, ooh, that's a nice one. I think I'm going to add that to the wardrobe. Let me get that. So that's what I did, but I'm pretty sure it was in this is a starter. It was definitely in the Devil's Den team store, and I believe it was last season, I think. Husky Unchained, we need some heavier, edgier, more violent tonight. You ain't kidding. You are not kidding. We need to see it in the worst way. Keep it up with the Devils. Hate the Eagles so much that I'll take the Chiefs. Anyways, Mercer has never missed a game in his career. Yeah, I think a lot of people probably don't like the Eagles and will be going for the Chiefs, even though it's kind of getting boring seeing Mahomes win and seeing Taylor Swift, 700 times per broadcast. I'll definitely be riding with the Chiefs, hoping to see them win again. And yeah, Dawson Mercer's our Iron Man, guys. He does not miss games, tough as nails, and the streak continues. I think he's damn near 300 now. Wait, let me just double check. I talked about this the other day, but I forgot what the number was. A lot of things going on in my crazy brain. Yeah, 297. So tonight will be 298. What a nice little Iron Man streak for Dawson Mercer. Mind Munchies YT. Let's go Flyers. Boo. And go Birds. Boo. Alex, anyone see that person who was trying to do an Eagles chant and said ELGSES instead? They must have been very drunk. Very, very drunk. Noah Cates, 2 goals tonight. Book it. That was our mayor. Stick Figs, do you think McDermott will be in? Shame on you. It's McDermott. Come on, Stick Figs. You're better than this. MACDERMID, McDermott. And it's looking like he's not going to be in. He filled in for Jack as the first-line center in practice, but I do not believe, based on what we saw from Amanda Stein earlier, that the toughest man in the National will be in the lineup tonight, unfortunately. SST, Timo time tonight, finally scripted. I would love to see Timo time. Mine Munchies, I think Flyers versus Devils will split the home and home. I'm hoping for 2 Devils wins personally. I hope you're incorrect and the Devils win both. It would be amazing. Jared Barnes, hey Ace, what's up, brother? Hope our boys pull this one out tonight. Team's nursing a lot of injuries. We all want this win, Jared. And yeah, we're a little nicked up right now. The Four Nations, we're going to be limping into that Four Nations break. Obviously, Markey out somewhat long-term, 4 to 6 weeks. Jack Hughes is nursing that finger thing. And now we have Nico, which they originally said was day-to-day. I really hope they weren't lying to us and it's nothing more serious. I'm hoping that he is back in the lineup as soon as possible. But, the injury bug, guys, it's part of sports. It's definitely part of the NHL. And that is why depth is so important. And right now, we don't have the greatest center depth. Hopefully something that is addressed by Fitz in the upcoming weeks. And we could bring in some guys to really round out the bottom 6 and get this team as competitive as possible for a playoff run. But they definitely need some help. But yeah, injuries, it sucks. It's part of the game, man. Pretty unlucky to have 2 such important pieces to the team not be available tonight and for however long they are out. Obviously, Markstrom was playing at a Vezina level in net. And Nico, the do-it-all captain, leading the team in goals. We need him back immediately. Zach W., pregame, oh boy, just made it. What's going on, Zach? Robert Paulser, gonna miss Heschauser tonight for sure. Jack with stitches in his hand. I will cheer from the couch while enjoying multiple Yinglings. Cheers to you, Robert. I'll be enjoying the game on my couch as well with I don't know what the drink of choice during the game tonight will be. We'll find out. Zach W. Halla back. He is not. Again, it could change, but based on the practice lines today, Halla still out. We got Palat, Jack, and Brad on the top line. Timo Meyer, Dawson Mercer, center. Nason on the second line. Cotter, Dowling, Hallinan on the third. Tatar, Lazar, and Bastian on the fourth with your boy Jake Allen and net. Jared Barnes, people need to stop hating on Mercer. This guy's bringing it. He's been playing really well in defense and has found a scoring touch lately. Keeping Up the Devil says, I don't understand the Mercer hate at all. And Zach, haters will love to hate. Yeah, I mean, Doomer's going to doom. Haters going to hate. It comes to the territory, but I am a Dawson Mercer guy. And again, I think a lot of people just look at sheer point totals and they want to see, they want to see a lot of points from everybody. I mean, guys have different roles on the team. And while I would personally like to see more points, for everybody across the board, it's just, everyone can't have a career season every year. I've said this before. Like, I don't know what people are truly expecting that, every year the guys are going to do better than they did the year before or their career high. It's just not how it works. And I think Dawson Mercer is a slept on player on this team. He is very valuable. A lot of people have been calling to trade him. I think it's ridiculous. Now, I wouldn't say that I would be totally against trading him if the right deal came along. Obviously, it would have to be something big, but I have no desire to trade him whatsoever. Stick Figs, I feel like all it takes is one solid goal from Timo to get him going for the rest of the season. I hope so. Certainly hope so. It's been a little too long for our man Timo. A little snake bitten as of late, but he's gotten chances. If he was just a step faster to get to that puck against Montreal, he could have got a really good chance. He barely got the shot off, and it is what it is. But he definitely came up big in that overtime. Jared Barnes, Halla is still out, unfortunately. Yep, that sucks. Zach W. Mercer's game is definitely well-rounded. One of the most well-rounded probably guys on the team. Again, how many guys are you comfortable throwing out in all situations? Obviously, Nico being the number one. I would say Dawson is probably right there amongst, maybe now since they're using him more defensively, Bratt. In terms of utility guys, you got Nico, Bratter, and probably Mercer. And, they're trying to push Jack with the penalty kill, and they've put him out there late in games at the lead and stuff just because of, the offensive threat that he possesses. Ralph, our defense must come together now. Yeah, it'd be a beautiful time for the lockdown defense that set the NHL record with 7 consecutive games allowing only 20 shots or less. Would be amazing for them to reemerge tonight, along with the heavier, edgier, more violent Devils. I might pass out if we see that. Random man, just win. Just win, baby. Just win. Nick, I'm calling a power play goal from Nason and a 5-on-5 from our man Cotter. I would love to see it. Would love to see it. Nason in his office down low, being the junkyard dog. And Cotter, the only man who buries people every time he goes out there. He wakes up with a chip on his shoulder, and I love it. Hopefully it becomes allergic to some of the other guys, and we start seeing bodies piling up on the ice because Cotter's burying people out there nearly every shift. R1KX, please just win this. I will take any win. Zach W. Yo, Ace, where did you get that sweatshirt? Someone just asked that before, but I bought this in the Devil's Den, I believe, last season. And a lot of the stuff that they sell, it seems as though it's in there for a short time, and then it's like never to be seen again. And it's like a one-time thing, or maybe a couple weeks or a couple months. But I will post. I just posted my Fanatics link there in the chat. If you guys are looking for merch, I'd appreciate it if you used my little link that I just put in the chat. They're always adding stuff. They're always adding stuff, so definitely take a look. You can click on that link and go peruse around. They're always adding stuff on there as well. But yeah, the Devil's Den stuff, it seems like it's there for a short time and then it kind of disappears, which is probably why I buy more shit than I should, because I'm like, oh man, like when I saw this, I was like, oh, if I don't buy this now, I may never see it again. and so I bought it. Random man put McDermott in over Bastion. It's tough now because Bastion really has picked up his play. He's been getting after it. Bastion has been, in my opinion, much better since he's come back from the injury. And the team, with the goal drought that they were in prior to the Boston game and scoring being so difficult, Keefe was really prioritizing trying to get guys in the lineup that are capable of generating some sort of offense. And with all due respect to Curtis McDermott, contributing offensively was not kind of one of the things he was relied on for. And so I think you're going to continue to see him scratched in most games. Jared Barnes, any word on the trade market in our team? Last I heard was JT Miller and or Brock Besser. No, I mean, a lot of these rumors flying around. I would love Brock Besser. I would love Miller, but you have to look at what is it going to cost to bring them here? What is their contract situation? I really do like JT Miller, but his age and his contract is a little bit scary for me. I mean, he makes a lot of money. That deal probably will age pretty poorly in a few years from now. But if you look at it in terms of, what does that give you with Miller for the next, 2 or 3 seasons beyond this? And I'd have to say he could be a pretty significant piece of a team that can make a deep run. So in a vacuum, I love JT Miller. I think he'd be a great addition for the Devils. But that contract is a little worrisome. And I think when Fitz is looking at all these potential moves, he is going to look at, obviously not only what guys could help the team and fill a void, but at what price. And will there be moves that kind of put you in a better situation going forward in terms of contracts and cap space? So it's all going to be interesting. I would love JT Miller. I really would, but he gets a lot of money. He's older. And it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. I think a lot of people are expecting a bigger name acquisition, especially in wake of the recent moves made by the Hurricanes, loading up with Rantanen and Taylor Hall on the same night. I mean, my God. But I'd be happy with the right depth moves. A lot of people have been talking about Evans and guys like Frederick. They'd all be great pieces. But I do think, the Canadians and Bruins and a bunch of other teams are not going to be sellers because they're going to be clawing for that wild card spot, and teams are going to be in it till the very end. And so I think, you might have to look towards the real bottom of the bottom basement dwellers, teams like San Jose, to kind of try to raid their roster for a playoff run. Where's Nashville now? They're pretty much toast. Yeah, 43 points. And the second wild card's 55. Yeah, it's over. Nashville's going to have to be sellers. A lot of people have been talking about Ryan O'Reilly. I would love him as well. Zach W. Bastion's been playing well lately. I agree. Keeping up the Devils. The league is different. Only team I could compare to any old team is Florida. What a throwback team. They're playing heavier, edgier, more violent all season long. And, the track record speaks for itself, guys. For the people that always try to say physicality doesn't matter and you're living in the past and all that, go watch Florida, and you could. They've been They were Eastern Conference champions 2 years ago and lost in the Cup final, and then last year they made it all the way back to the Cup and won. So I don't know. They've been the king of the East for the past couple of years and a Cup champion. I don't know what more you need to see before you're a believer that physicality matters and helps you win hockey games in the NHL in 2025. Look no further than the Florida Panthers, led by Matthew Tkachuk, a complete throwback. Tyler, I'm dealing with the norovirus, but ain't missing the stream. Hopefully you get better, drink some Pedialyte, whatever it is, hydrate, Gatorade, Powerade, eat the protein bars, whatever it is. Nurse yourself back to health, Tyler. Hope you feel better soon. And hopefully your New Jersey Devils could give you a little inner cheer tonight with a big win in Philadelphia. LJ, Jay Pandolfo, future Ring of Honor. Oh, baby. Now you're talking, LJ. I mean, I personally have said this in many videos. To me, all of the 2 Cup guys are worthy of the Ring of Honor for sure. Jay Pandolfo definitely being one of them, a crucial member of the 2000 and 2003 New Jersey Devils, a kind of under the radar, not celebrated as nearly as much as he should be, a true checking forward, going up against the other team's best lines night in and night out. It's not, the NHL then just Is it working now? Nothing. And this is a crazy one because can you guys hear it? Because there is no indication on my end that it was out, which is good. I mean, it's super annoying. Sorry about that, guys. Appreciate the patience. I really didn't touch it. I've been doing really well with that. I haven't touched it. There was no lights, so the software, whatever. But back to Pando, Jay Pandolfo and John Madden, two underrated Devils that were assigned the toughest matchups every single night, shutting down, just superstars of the league. And, I think Jay Pandolfo, again, guys like Madden, all the 2 Cup guys, definitely to me belong in the Ring of Honor. And hopefully they get their due one day because they were huge parts of those championship teams. And again, these are the types of guys that you do not win cups without. Stick Figs is shift of the year currently between Tatar's goal last game and Brad's shift against the Blackhawks. At the moment, those are the 2, but I'm going to be honest. Nothing is going to top the Bradder shift against the Blackhawks. The way he came on there and just closed the gap and kind of chased the guy down, waited till he was close enough, and then slammed him against the boards, and then took the puck, got it to Pesci, and then got it to Jack. I mean, that's that. It would take some Herculean, miraculous shift to top that. To me, it's Bradders all day long. It's pretty much locked up. A foregone conclusion early in the season, but Tatar is going to be a notable nominee. Let's go Devils 95, 2000, 2003. I have a feeling tonight a non-offensive D-man is going to score. Pesci, Covey, Siegs. Would love it. Would love to see it. Joseph, there's reportedly a bad sickness in Philly locker room. Could be a shutout tonight for the Devils. I mean, that would be amazing. Obviously, it seems like these winter illnesses are kind of flying around. Norovirus and all these things. And the Devils obviously dealt with it. We missed Nason. Palat missed the game. Nason missed a few games. Hopefully, we're not the only ones. It would be nice to take advantage of another team that's sick because what the hell? We had to deal with it. Blackatron, I'm in Philly for the game. Boots on the ground. Let's go Devils. That's awesome, Blackatron. Hope you have a good time. Hope no Flyers fans harass you. I hope you got a good cheesesteak at some point. And I hope you see a big New Jersey Devils win. DRS Jess, I'm an Eagles and Devils fan. Come on. I mean, we'll accept it. Like I said, I don't really care too much about the football. I'm curious to know, DRS Jess, how did you become a fan of both of those? Do you live in South Jersey? Actually, my buddy Jordan is an Eagles and Devils fan. He lives in South Jersey. For whatever reason, he latched onto the Devils, but he is loyal to his local football team, which would be the Eagles. Jeff, heard a lot of Flyers players are sick. Hope that levels the playing field with Nico out. Someone just said that. Be great. Zach, I want to see Luke score one. I think we all do. My buddy Goody, football is not as fun as hockey. Of course it's not. Nothing is as fun as hockey. The greatest game on the planet. Stickfigs know in the channel he's Curtis McDermott. Okay. I had a feeling you might be making fun of those people. Curtis McDermott. Abby, in a weird position tonight going to the game as an Eagles fan and Devils season ticket holder who lives in PA. I mean, what's the weird position? Root for your Devils. Do the stupid Eagles chants when they do them. I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, I don't care too much about the football, and you're another one of these Eagles-Devils people. It's understandable. My good buddy Jordan is one of them. Shout out to Jordan. He's also going to the game tonight with his children. Yeah. Eagles-Devils, a rare breed, but they exist. Amagi, I can't believe people would pick the Mahomes Taylor Swift show over the Eagles. Unreal. Come on, man. What football team do you like, Amagi? I just hate everything Philly. I hate everything Philly. Gem Card McDermott is a fan favorite. Michael, Nico being out is a hit, but when important guys are out, sometimes that causes the whole lineup to raise their game. Let's hope that's the case tonight. Hopefully. And hopefully Jake Allen, he had an okay game last game. He had some big saves. Probably wants one or two of those goals back. And hopefully he stands on his head and gives the team a chance to win again tonight. I would love to see the Devils score first, guys. I really would love to see the Devils get on the board first. Playing with the lead is just a nice delicacy that we haven't been served too often. All too many times we're coming from behind. It would be nice to play with the lead tonight. Jay Snow, Mahomes is the best QB in the, I guess that's supposed to say entire league. You're surprised? Random man, you guys think McDougal going to be on the roster next year? Are you talking about McDermott? Now he's McDougal? I don't know if he's being facetious or not. Now he's McDougal. Yeah, he's signed for 2 more years after this year. Jay Snow, yes, only Fitz would give Big Mac a 3-year deal. Random man, don't know why Ace hates my boy McDipshit. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. SST, he was kidding. I thought he was. He was kidding. He's not, he's making fun of the people with the McDermott. I thought he was. Gem card. Mercer usually plays very well versus Carolina, and that's who we are most likely playing round one. He could be a big factor in beating Carolina. We're going to need a lot of guys to have big series to beat Carolina with that little reloading they just did with Rantanen and Taylor Hall. Wow. Michael, I don't get the Mac hit on the 3-year contract. He can just be waived and cap hit gone if it becomes an issue. Because people just like to complain, Michael. You haven't figured that out yet. People just want something to complain about. Samuel, who's in Nico's slot tonight? Well, they kind of jumbled it all up. We jumbled some things around. And we're back to Palat, Hughes, Bratt on the top line. Timo Meyer with Mercer at center and Nason on line 2. Cotter, Dowling, Hallinan on line 3, and your usual Tatar, Lazar, Bastion line 4. Jason, when he dug it to be responsible tonight, he was literally kept flying out of the D zone against Montreal, leading to goals. Yeah, I mean, that could be, maybe Keith told the D-men to get a little more involved. You never know. It seems like some games they don't really pinch, and then other games they go wild. You never know what you're going to get, but he does need to get involved here and there because he is very good at generating offense, obviously. Zupa Maki, time for Mercer and step up. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see Mercer with a monster game tonight again. Amagi, there's stuff exclusive to the Den, absolutely, like the satin red starter jacket we both have. Yeah, when I see that kind of stuff, I'm like, it might be now or never, so I guess it's going to be now. Keeping up with the Devils, I'd preferably like to win without my heart flying out of my body, no pun intended. I think we all would. Folker, sports cards. Going to miss Nico tonight, but boys will pick up the slack. Next man up. Yeah, man. Got to do it. Got to do it. Zach, yo, Ace, you got to get the Devils WWE belt. I saw that. I don't know. I think it's kind of gimmicky. I don't know. It's not for me, personally. It's cool, and I get people that would buy it. I got to draw the line somewhere. The belt, I did love wrestling back in the day, but the belt is not for your boy. Stick figs, don't think there are any permanents except for jerseys. That looks like an SS hoodie, so I wouldn't expect that back. Oh, yeah, so you're right. So now I know I definitely did buy it last year. And now that you mention that, I do remember I actually bought this. Time's really flying, man. I bought this over a year ago then. I bought this like a couple months before the Stadium Series, and this actually doesn't have anything Stadium Series on it. But it's kind of in that Stadium Series motif, obviously, with the black logo. Yeah. It was there a couple months before, and when me and my buddy saw it, we were like, oh, I wonder if this is kind of a like a clue. Because there was a couple other items in there, I think maybe t-shirts and stuff that were this black logo with no circle around it. And we were both like, this is probably a little bit of a foreshadowing of what the color scheme or, logo is going to look like for the Stadium Series. And it did end up obviously being that. But it technically is not Stadium Series logoed anywhere. It's just red hoodie, black logo, no circle. But it was, now that you mentioned it, I do remember I bought this like a couple months before the Stadium Series. Yeah, so this one's long gone. Jason Hallinan is playing tonight. Keeping up the Devils. Among other news in the NHL, Marc-Andre Fleury was punched in the face against the Flames. Like literally punched in the face? I didn't hear about that. Leo says, apparently the Flyers canceled the morning skate around because there's some illness going around. Perfect. I will take an opponent weakened any way you could get it. Chico, your King of the East is currently under the soft Devils. That's fine. Wait till the playoffs come, my man. What do you think is going to happen in the playoffs? Are you picking against them? We're a hair better than them. They're at 598 points percentage. We're at 608. I'm scrolling through all the Mike related comments. All right. Phil. Yeah, I laugh every time. Phil McCracken. Let's go, Devils. Get heavier, edgier. Show me the violence for once. Oh, a man after my own heart. I want to be heavier, edgier, and I want to see the violence. It's been a long time coming. We saw glimpses of it earlier on in the season, and at one point, we led the league in fighting majors. And now I think we're last in the league. It started off as a promising year for the fisticuffs, and it's quickly diminished. And I think that has to be a Keefe directive. For whatever reason, he doesn't want the boys fighting. Chico, I'm looking for back-to-back wins of the Flyers to close out the month. Definitively kill the slump with your first 4-game winning streak since Washington was president. And that's true. I mean, winning the 4 in a row would clearly be a sign of a turnaround, and the Devils would be back. Gianni, Flyers announced Couturier is out. Both defensive centers out. Should even things out. Beautiful. Keeping up the Devils. Everyone talks about who they want to score. I'll take anybody. I am right there with you. Anybody. Nicole, my husband was an Eagles fan, but fell for a Jersey girl, me, and I sucked him into loving the Devils. It wasn't hard. Now we live in PA and struggle. That's pretty funny. Was he a Flyers fan, Nicole? Was he Philly everything, and then you converted him? I'm not going to lie. I would never let a female convert me, no matter what. NJ Devils till I die. But I could see people, if they're not like a diehard fan in a situation like this, changing team allegiances. But not your boy. Amagi, I was an Eagles fan when I was actually into football. Not anymore. I literally only know Jalen Hurts, and that's it. Don't follow it anymore. Yeah, football's kind of lame now. Nick, I'm hearing the Devils are hot on Palms. Anyone else hearing these rumors? John says Palmieri. Yes, that's who he's referring to. I think he could help us. I'm hoping there's a better option that could help us a little more, preferably a more, heavier, edgier, more violent type of fella. But if Palmieri is the best we could do, again, another thing, like I said with Taylor Hall, how can you say Palmieri on our roster doesn't make us a better team? He clearly does. So any of the, there's so many different guys that'll be available that I would be interested in for sure. Tough one tonight. You're gonna eat lightning and you're gonna crap thunder. Little Rocky reference. Shout out to obviously the Mick, one of the most legendary, sports movie characters. The late, I think his name is Meredith Burgess. He was super old even back then. He died a long time ago, but his legacy will live on forever as Mick in the Rocky movies. Nick, my heart breaks that I slept on Stadium Series apparel. Everything is exclusive to the Den, and I'm in Virginia now, so I'm shit out of luck. I thought about. I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of you guys are out of the area, so I did think about one time, if anyone was interested, I would buy shit for you guys. If you send me the money, obviously I'll buy it and ship it to you. Obviously you pay for shipping. If that's something people out of the area are interested in, let me know. Maybe I could do a one foul swoop where maybe I'll, maybe do a live and just kind of scan everything and be like, if you want something and you're ready to send the money for it, I'll buy it for you right now. Because it does suck not being in the area. And another thing, obviously, aside from being able to attend the games, living in New Jersey, I'm able to continue to be a apparel degenerate and buy all the stuff when it comes out. Who's in goal for Filthy? Very good question, Maria. Let's see. Is that out anywhere? It's going to be Urson. Probably Urson, I would think. Let me see. Didn't play yesterday, right? Yeah, probably Urson. Yeah, Urson. Philadelphia's on top. All right, mine munchies. Jack McCabe, let's go Devils 5-1 win tonight. So I'll take that. Jack Hughes 4-point night. Sign me up for that as well. Searle, just stopping by to say I think many should know that often the above average teams will be at their worst in the middle-ish part of the season. I mean, yeah, I mean, no team for the most part plays at the top of their game all season long. I mean, that would be great, but you see teams struggle a lot and go through a little slump. Ours lasted way longer than I would have liked it to have lasted. And hopefully we're in the midst of turning this thing around. Steven, now I want Jack to skip the Four Nations so he could rest up his fingers. Oh, Steven, if you think there's any chance of Jack missing the Four Nations, you're wild. Wild. Can't see it happening. I think he's pumped for this. Mine Munchies Flyers 4-3 overtime tonight. That'd be terrible. Chico, wait to the playoffs. I mean, they almost lost in historic fashion to the soft Oilers. I'm not saying they're bad, but they're not dominant just because they're tough. Oh, Chico, you like to argue, dog. Take a nap, son. I'm not saying that's the only reason why. They obviously have a ton of skilled players, but if you're going to pretend that their physicality is not a huge part of why they're good, you don't know what you're talking about. Jack McCabe, bring Conn Smythe winner and Stanley Cup champion Ryan O'Reilly to New Jersey. I would like him, but I think he's going to go for, yeah, keeping up the Devils. O'Reilly is too expensive. I think it's going to, teams are going to pony up for him. Mine Munchies, at least you guys aren't Ranger fans. Mine Munchies, are the Rangers like your big rival at the moment, or at least what you perceive to be the big rival? Also, a big part of the Panthers game relies on the refs just not calling stuff like they blitz obvious penalties so much that the ref is not going to call everything. Meadowlander, I'm getting tired of watching Nico get abused. I think we all are. It's time for some retribution. Got to get some payback. Jack McCabe, give up one of the defense prospects for O'Reilly plus. Have some balls and make a big move. Jack, I am now fully on board with this. I much rather cash in one of the prospects than move a roster player. We can't take away from the roster we have now. We need to add to it. We can't be trading, roster. It's just lateral moves. So I am fully on board with something like this. I'm not saying definitively O'Reilly rather, but I do think it's time to use one of these pieces for a win now move. I would like to avoid doing that if you can, but if you have to choose between a roster player, like a guy like Mercer, or a defensive prospect, I'm going to have to move a prospect and really try to push some of these chips in the middle here. Nicole, he didn't even watch hockey. I taught him the hockey ways. Good for you. Making some new recruits. Husky Unchained. Dylan's due for a fight. I want blood. I definitely want blood as well. Mine Munchies, Garnett Hathaway will drop Dylan. Well, let's see. Let's see what happens if they meet. Jack, Dylan is due for a fight. Would love to see him beat the hell out of someone. Mine Munchies, are you a Philly fan? Of course, Jack. Of course he is. Searle, Palmieri not being used in the left circle enough and Meyer not being used in the right circle enough. Things that make you scratch your head. Things that truly make you scratch your head. Chico, maybe I have an unrealistic expectation, but I will be disappointed if the Devils don't whip out 2 wins in this home and away against the Flyers. Not must wins, in my opinion, but make a statement, boys. Yeah, it would be a statement to beat them 2 games in a row. Yeah, it'd be nice. First 4-game streak in forever. Mine Munchies, Flyers are 1, Eagles 2, Phillies 3. Okay. Ryan, repping my Running with the Devils t-shirt today from West Palm Beach, Florida. Let's go Devils. Awesome. Thanks for the support, Ryan. Appreciate that. And I'm jealous of probably your current weather. It's probably much nicer there than it is in New Jersey. Let's go Devils. Nick, I get why you wouldn't ace, but if you did, I'd be 100% on board. I'll got to get with you on social so it's easier to communicate. Yeah, just let me know. I go to a lot of games. And I'm always perusing the team store for shit that I don't need whatsoever. But I have an addiction, guys. I have an addiction. Searle, it's hard to sweep a back-to-back even against the worst teams. Absolutely. It definitely is. But hopefully we find a way to do it. They embarrassed us on our home ice, and now it's time to try to win both of these games. Would be really nice. Sasha, okay, Ace, can you list the 5 players that you'd like to have in Devils, like dream trades or something like that? I mean, listen, I think I'm interested in JT Miller. I'm now just talking about guys that I would like, but I'm not saying that the Devils should or should get them because of the contracts and things, but just without taking all the details into consideration. JT Miller, Ryan O'Reilly, Jake Evans, Trent Frederick. I'd probably even be interested in a guy like Donato from Chicago. I mean, there's so many that I think would improve the team. But O'Reilly would be towards the top of my list, if not number one, in terms of realistic, because I think he will be sold off. I think the price could be high, but if it's not too crazy, I think he would be an excellent piece for this team. Really good piece for this team to grab. And I would love to see it. I think, there's going to be a bidding war for guys like him. I don't think they're going to come cheap. I don't know realistically what, Nashville would be asking for him. It seems like Barry Trotz is quite difficult to deal with based on what was, what was said when Fitz was inquiring about one of his goalies, whether it was Saros or Askarov. So it could be one of those things where, someone's going to overpay for him to try to really make a cup run. But sometimes you don't get guys like that without overpaying. And while I wouldn't want to get bludgeoned on a deal, let me see how many he has. A few more. Let me see. Yeah, so Ryan O'Reilly is a $4.5 million cap hit. He's 33 years old, nearly 34. He turns 34. He turns 34 like February 7th. So we're talking about he is obviously at the end here. And he signed for 2 more years at 4.5. I'm perfectly fine with that, with his contract and everything. The question is, what are they asking for? What are they asking for in return? Now, obviously, I think a bunch of teams would offer a first-round pick. We don't have a first-round pick this year because we gave ours. We traded ours to Calgary to get Markey. So we do have second-round picks, and we obviously have some prospects. It would be great not to have to trade one of the top prospects and maybe trade like a lower-level prospect. Maybe a couple seconds, and we have pieces. It's just going to come down to what is Nashville really looking for, and I'd imagine, the first rounder is going to probably be attractive that a lot of teams will dangle. This is going to be an interesting trade deadline. I really think it's going to be an interesting one. Colby, hopefully Devils can get revenge on the Flyers from last game, boycott the NFL. Alan, Ace almost was Burgess Meredith. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I get dyslexia with names. Yeah, Meredith. I mean, what the hell? What did I say? Meredith Burgess? Oh, I flipped it. I was close, Alan. Eddie, want to see a Timo goal tonight? I think we all want to see a Timo goal. John, who is backing up Allen? It will be Isaac Poulter on the bench backing up Jake Allen tonight. Zupamaki, any Devils trade rumors? None that are really credible. I mean, most of the quote-unquote rumors people are hearing about are really not based on anything other than pure speculation. So there's obviously, tons of speculation articles out there and people talking about guys that could be good or whatever, but it's not, I wouldn't call those really rumors. It's more just like, talk almost. I don't think there is much in the way of like credible rumors out there at the moment. Although I do think somebody credible, I forget who it was, said that the Devils at least inquired on JT Miller. But we haven't heard anything else really since then. Colby, my hometown isn't too far from West Palm Beach. I love West Palm Beach. What great beaches. I've been there a couple times over the past few years to go to some concerts and just hang out. And the beach there is awesome. I'm a West Palm fan for sure. Craig, I don't want to hear the injury excuses tonight if we don't compete. Team needs to turn the corner now. You're not going to get any excuses from me. This is a huge game. If they're not pumped up for this, I mean, what are you waiting for? This is a huge game. A huge division game against a local rival and one that they got to find a way to win. Metalander, fans in Montreal are well-versed in their opponents and know our team. They see Timo as an underachiever like a modern-day Keith Primeau. They chant, au revoir. I'm a little rusty on my French. Is that au revoir Timo Meier when he touches the puck? What is the translation for that? Chico, Ryan O'Reilly is the beginning and end for me. If Fitz can get him, I don't really care what else happens. I think that's the best single move that can set this team up for a good playoff run. I agree. It would be amongst one of the best moves that is, attainable. And I'm curious, Chico, if something was coming on the other side, would you trade Shimo Nemitz in a deal to bring in Ryan O'Reilly? Craig, Fitz should make a move sooner than later. Team obviously takes a while to adjust to pretty much everything. Yeah, I agree. I mean, time is not your friend in this scenario. And obviously, it would be nice to have the help sooner than later. I mean, the playoffs aren't a guarantee. And a lot of these games are going to get tougher and tougher as we get closer to the playoffs. I would like the reinforcements sooner as well. I'm fully on board with that, Craig. Lance, I'm here in Boynton Beach, Florida. No Nico. Think it's going to be a struggle tonight. I mean, listen, every night is a struggle. Every day is a winding road. But it's time for some boys to step up. Dawson Mercer centering the second line. Another third line. The third line is going to be interesting for me. Cotter with Dowling and Hallinan. Hopefully Hallinan looking to make an impression on the organization, start smashing people. Metalander, tonight is a great opportunity for Dawson to step up. Absolutely. Brendan, my top dream pieces are in no particular order. Rantanen, Pasta, Kaprizov, Quinn Hughes, McKinnon. Yeah, Brendan, but these are just, why don't you have McDavid on your list? I mean, now we're talking about fantasy land. I was trying to, keep it somewhat realistic. You're talking about fairy tale stuff. Logan Thompson is 22-2-3. Wow. 2 regulation losses in 27 games. Keeping up with the Devils. The only thing people say is that Devils need to make a response to a Rantanen trade. For me, it's not necessarily a response to it, but it's more along the lines of, look what a team in your division and a team that you very well may end up playing in the playoffs is doing to bolster their roster. Like, this is win now moves personified. Like, this is a GM that's going for it. I'm not suggesting that Fitzy should make as ballsy of a move because it is a sizable gamble, but I'm sure Canes fans are jacked. What a power move to try to win it all. Alex, team needs to use the momentum and mentally be positive. Jay Snow, got to finish the stretch strong. Can't control life, says no OT. I hope not either. For the love of God, can we win 4 in a row? I certainly hope so. Keeping up the Devils. The translation for the earlier comment was goodbye, Timo Meyer. Okay. Colby, I was one of Logan Thompson's biggest haters last year. I look like an utter retard now. Jay Snow says, not trading them, it's for O'Reilly. What if they added something on the other end? Devs fan, we need to be heavier, edgier, more violent. I could not agree more. Keeping up the Devils. Making the playoffs won't be a problem in my eyes, but I'll make a move 10 times out of 10. I mean, listen, the playoffs aren't a guarantee. Don't get too cocky. I believe that they're going to be in the playoffs, but these games are going to be brutal in February, March, and April. Jay Snow, we need to be hard on the walls tonight and get to the middle of the ice. Natural Canopy, Ace, let's beat the record tonight if we win. Who works on Tuesday anyway? Oh, absolutely not, Natural Canopy. You're nuts. That was a Saturday night special. Feeling good off the overtime win. We will certainly not be even anywhere near the record tonight. Absolutely not. Metalander with Nico out and Jack's finger. Who takes the faceoffs? I'm imagining we're going to see Mercer with a heavy dosage of faceoffs. Let's see. Yeah, this season he's only taken 57 faceoffs and he's won 25. 43.9%. Dowling will probably take a bunch too. He has 198 on the year. He's 193, which is a 47%. 47% for him. Stefan Nason's taken 62 on the season, and he's won 34. That's a 54.8%. Maybe they try to get Nason there. Let's see who else. Yeah, this might be going down by committee. You might see a bunch of different guys, taking faceoffs throughout the game. Paul Cotter's taken 58 on the season. He won 30. He's 51.7%. Okay. Brendan plays. This is my absolute dream stuff. For whatever reason, I just like McKinnon better. He gets tons of assists, but in my opinion, has a better shot than McDavid, and we need finishers. Yeah, it's definitely dream stuff. Eddie, I like Jake Evans for that third line toughness. Yeah, again, I can't see Montreal selling pieces, but maybe they say we value whatever we get in return for him over having him for a potential playoff run. Chico, Nemitz for Ryan O'Reilly. Oof, that one hurts, man. I wouldn't. I feel like there's no way his price can get that high even in a bidding war. I don't think it's as crazy as you think. Now, if they were to do it, I would love to see something added on the other side. Obviously, not a straight 1-for-1, but in terms of him being the main piece, going to Nashville, I think, that's what Trotz is going to be asking for, either him or Mercer. And if it comes down to it, I'm looking at win now, guys. I understand a lot of people are high on Nemitz. I think he's going to be a great defenseman, but you rarely can make monster moves in this league that don't kind of sting when they first happen. I've said that time and time again, and it obviously would sting, but that's a win now move. Do you value the pieces to try to win now, or you want to talk about how bright the future is going to be? It's a big question mark, right? What do you want to talk about? The window and everything in a few years from now? Or you're like, you know what? We have Markstrom for this year and next at a minimum. Marky's playing well. If the team shows up, we're as good as any other team in the league. Let's try to make this run. And for me, I definitely prefer to keep Mercer over a guy like Nemitz in a situation like this. Natural Canopy, Saturday night special. I'll run the live free soft drinks of choice. Brendan plays below are my more realistic dreams. Rory, Forsberg, Jamie Benn, Giroux. I love Jamie Benn. Jamie Benn is a nasty mo. Another throwback. He'll fight. He'll hit people. He could score. Love Jamie Benn. He's a guy I always wanted to see win a cup. Like, when the Devils are out of it, which has pretty much been the majority of this guy's career. Damn, Jamie Benn's 35 already. My God. Careers go by quick, guys. Like I've said plenty of times in videos and on lives, before you know it, Nico and Brad are going to be knocking on 30, and you're going to be sitting here like, what the hell? When did this happen? And it goes like that. Just ask Zach Parise and Travis Zajac and those guys that were part of that core. Andy Green, guys that are on some really good teams, but they were just never able to get a cup. Keeping up the Devils' record won't be beaten unless they win the cup in Game 7 in OT and Timo Meier scores. No, I mean it's gonna that record live will stand for a while. But if the stars aligned, a playoff situation could potentially, lead to a longer one. But that was long. Natural Canopy, my buddy's a Flyers fan. We're going to play some pond hockey. If you go until 3 a.m., I'll tombstone him through the ice. Oh, you guys are nuts. Chico, Devils have 3 second-round picks in 2025. I'd rather trade 2 of those and anyone off of Utica who isn't Nemitz or Casey for Ryan. Of course you would. But if you're Barry Trotz, you're going to be like, I don't want your junk. Second-round picks, in my opinion, are junk. I mean, obviously they have some value, but in the end, if teams are going to offer a first and maybe some other either picks or prospects, you're not going anywhere with your second-round picks. Obviously, Chico, anyone who's a Devils fan would rather give second-round picks and a random prospect versus Nemitz, but you're not talking about anywhere near the same value. And maybe I'm wrong, but I 100% think there'll be multiple teams offering a first and maybe plus some if it's a bigger deal with Nashville. I think they're easily getting at least a first for him. Meadowlander says, I don't get the Jake Evans buzz. Check his stats. I mean, his stats aren't going to be overwhelming, but in terms of points, but I always talk about there's more to the story than just that. I just lost my tab here. He's just a solid, bottom two line center. Yeah, I mean, he's a half a point per game guy, and he's a +5. 11 goals, 14 assists for 25 points, which means, sadly, at 25 points, 25 points is more than Dawson Mercer, Andre Palat, Paul Cotter, Tatar, obviously Hall, but he missed time. But yeah, 25 points would put him at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He'd be 7th on the Devils in scoring. I think he's a pretty good faceoff guy too. Let me see. Yeah, he takes a lot of draws. He's 51.5% on the year. Definitely brings some depth that we need. Natural Canopy, I got Kotz with a goal, Bratt with 2, and Nace for 4-2 win. That'd be great. Halloween Fiend 77 Ace. Let's get Paulie Walnuts here in the comment section. Ask him to get out of the Pine Barrens. Oh, boy. Sherry Poo, it's going on 4-2 Devils. Jack has 3 points. I would love it. Nick, look at how people melted down for the Holtz Cotter trade, and look how that panned out. You mean that was a fleecing? If you missed one of the previous times I mentioned it, and Holtz is in the AHL now. I mean, there is no questioning now who got the better of that deal. Paul Cotter did not continue on the hot streak that he started the season on in terms of offense, but he is a heavier, edgier, more violent guy and has some finishing skill for sure. We've seen glimpses of it. Great addition for the Devils. Holtz is most likely going to be playing overseas soon. I hate to say it. Natural Canopy, Sherry Poo, you are speaking my language. Richard Zimmer, what's going on? Really want to see heavier, edgier, more violent. Tired of seeing our boys hurt with no backup protective stance. Somebody needs to drop the gloves once in a while. Old school. Could not agree more. Ross says we should get Phil Kessel. 2 years ago, I would have been on board for that. Phil Kessel's done. Done. Jay Snow, we don't have a first-round pick this year. No, we do not. I wonder how many picks Fitz will part with. We're going to find out. Chico, I just don't see Ryan O'Reilly even in a bidding war going for Nemitz or Casey. And if it gets that, personally, I walk away and either take Donato or look elsewhere. Yeah, Donato's a guy I mentioned before. I think that's a very sensible option for the Devils. And again, I didn't say 1-for-1, but I said, Nemitz for O'Reilly with some stuff added on their end. It's Barry Trotz would definitely try it. For sure, he's going to try it. Personally, I feel like if you're dealing Nemitz or Casey, it's got to be as part of a package for a bona fide prime star player coming back. And I don't think the Devils are looking for a trade like that. I agree with you there. And I personally wouldn't want to do it either. I'm just telling you that I could see, again, Barry Trotz trying it, because if other teams are offering a first, you say, okay, well, now can I get something that I believe is going to be better than whatever I could get with that first round pick? And obviously Nemitz or Casey, I believe, would be, something that GMs would want. Jay Snow, Donato only making $2 million. Would love to add him and Tanev. I would be happy with that. Brendan, I think Jamie Benn and Drew are my dream acquisitions because they can both play center or wing, produce offensively, and are good physical players. Nice leadership too. Yep, but Ben's not going anywhere. Ace, who are your Super Bowl picks? Who are my Super Bowl picks? I'm picking the Chiefs to win. Brian C is back. Jay Snow, we need someone with offensive upside. Natural Canopy says, Ted, the NFL is scripted. Who cares? My Super Bowl pick is the Chiefs. Sav, kind of random, but where do you think Bratter will go when his contract's up? I'm hoping he stays with the New Jersey Devils. I'm hoping. Why do you assume he's going somewhere? I'm hoping he retires a Devil. I'd be heartbroken if Bratter left. Brian C says 5-1 Flyers. Hopefully he's completely wrong. Keeping up with the Devils. Schmido will be a legend in my heart. Of course. I love Akira Schmid. I have a monster 16 by 20 signed photo of him with his arms out. After that Game 7 win, I was in the building for it. It was an unforgettable night. I have some great videos on the channel. If you haven't seen it, that was kind of early on in the channel. I have videos of Rangers fans being taunted as they leave the building in droves. The party on the streets of Newark outside after the game. Tons of videos from Devils Rangers Game 7. If you haven't seen it, go check those out on the channel. But keeping up with the Devils, Brian C. Go to sleep. John Lopez, Tom McVie, Devs coach back in the 80s and early 90s, passed away a few days ago. He was a real character, really nice. Yeah, rest in peace, Tom McVie. A lot of people were talking about that, kind of when it happens. Kenny Danico posted a nice tribute for him. And, yeah. Natural Canopy, hey, Brian C., go get your shine box. What about Bertuzzi? He was one of the guys I was potentially interested in last season, like when everyone was talking early about like free agents. I just think he makes too much. He's got 28 points in 49 games. I mean, maybe they want to keep him around as one of the more veteran guys in a rebuild. $5.5 million. It's not crazy. I mean, the one thing that does worry me about that is though, I'm pretty sure he's playing on the top line. Let me just double check that. Yeah, I mean, dude, he's playing with Connor Bedard on the top line. And if you're playing with Bedard and getting top line minutes and you have 28 points in 49 games, I mean, it's not terrible, but he's getting 18, 19 minutes a night and he's got 28 points in 49 games. I don't know. He's obviously not going to be on our top line here. And so, what real production? And granted, he's a nasty mo, heavier, edgier, more violent. I like it, but at $5.5 million a year, I just pulled the damn thing down. I just had it up. Yeah, $5.5 million a year. I like him. I would like him to be. I'd love him if he was making $3.5. At $5.5 million a year, I think he's a little too expensive for what he brings. And just look at Ryan O'Reilly at 4.5. Much better deal, in my opinion. Chico, if it was something like Nemitz or Casey in a second for Ryan O'Reilly and one of their AHL goalies, both who were playing pretty well, and maybe a lower pick coming back, I could live with that. But man, yeah, it's gonna sting. But I was talking about something more along the lines of that. Obviously, I think Nemitz or Casey straight up is insane. But if there's some pieces added where you're getting a little more value, I think it could be worth considering. Obviously, I would like to keep both of those guys. I really would. But not having the first round pick this year, having a few second round picks, and then some other prospects, like, what moves do you really have to make? How is Bobby Holik? What do you mean, Randy? Bobby Holik's a legend. 95 and 2000 Cup champ, a member of the Crash Line. Bobby Holik, legend. Eddie, 3-2 Devils. I'll take that. Chico Cotter, to be honest, even if he doesn't score another goal this season, I'd still say we won that trade. He brings stuff to the Devils that Holtz was never going to be able to do. I agree. Fully agree. Jay Snow, Bratter was filthy against Montreal. I'd like to see Luke bury something. He's great at creating space, but he has a hard time finishing. As of late, it seems that way. It definitely seems like that as of late, and hopefully he starts lighting it up soon. Jay Snow, 5-5 for Bertuzzi pass. Yeah, just a little overpaid for my liking. Keeping up the Devils is Bill Spalding coming back. I think he had a family emergency. I wonder, we may not know. We may not know until they go live on the air in 14 minutes, which means I got to start sort of wrapping this up here. Thank you all for coming out to the pre-pregame live. Let's see. Did Billy say anything to the public? Bill will be back. Confirmed. Bill is back in the booth tonight in Philly. Yeah, Jason, no, he is playing with Bedard. So I'm like, to have that production playing top line minutes with Bedard, I'd like to see more. Natural Panoply, Jay Snow, can you even type right now? How many cocktails have you had? Meadowlander says Chicago would like those second-round picks. I'm sure they would. They'll take any assets they could get. Woodson, with Nico out, Allen better pitch a shutout. We won't score more than 2. My God, Woodson. You are just... What a wet blanket. Jay Snow, pain in the ass typing in my phone. I hate typing on the phone. Canopy says, what's up, Woodson? Justin, can Devs land Tuck? Another guy I would like. Buffalo. Tuck is another big man. 35 points in 49 games. I would like him. What's his contract like? Yeah, he has this year and one more left at 4.75. At 4.75. Okay. That's acceptable. He's 28 years old. I wouldn't mind him. The grammar police over here. Woodson says, Mr. Positive has arrived. Corey, Granlund, and Besser would be guys I like the Devils to try and add. Tatar, Palat need to go. I don't think you're going to see anything with Palat this season. Maybe in the offseason they figure something out. Granlund on the Sharks and Besser. Yeah, it's going to be hard with cap space to add 2 guys like that. But Randy, Bobby Olik had a highway robbery as a Ranger, did nothing. Yeah, the Rangers were a mess then. I think he signed for 5 years, $45 million. What a payday. And this is 20 years ago. My God. Marshall, no Marky, no Nico on the road in a scumbag city. This should be a Jack multi-point dub, needing him to come up big here. Yeah, everyone's got to step up. Everyone's got to step up. John Lopez, Ace, with all your memorabilia, I'm curious if you have a Crash Line t-shirt. Of course I have a Crash Line t-shirt, John. Of course I do. Chico, Casey and second-round pick for Ryan O'Reilly, Nostroza, and Matthew Murray. I mean, yeah, you could start getting creative. There's a lot of options, and that's what I'm saying. Not one for one, but could he be the main showcase piece of a deal? And I think he could. We'll see. Steve Smith, buddy of mine, wants to talk above all others. I would like him. We definitely need a center as well. But now if you get Tuck, you have a lot of options. And I think he would be a guy worth trying out with Jack and Bratter as well. You have Jack with Tuck and Bratter. That's very interesting. Ted, I said my pick. The Chiefs. Mahomes. Jason says Tuck loves Buffalo. He's from upstate New York. Well, unless he loves not making the playoffs ever, I'm imagining he would be welcome to getting traded to any sort of team making the playoffs. Woodson, I hope Jack has a hat trick tonight. I hope Jack has a hat trick every night. Jay Snow, San Jose can't retain any money. Woodson, we screwed up getting Besser years ago. SJ, who played 2C? This is Garland. Garland is too small. Mercer playing second line center tonight. Chico, I'm torn because I feel like Ryan O'Reilly basically guarantees a long playoff run for this team. Hinney has a sprinkling of NHL experience. He's a warm body who can play at an NHL level. And either of their goalies would immediately be our best third string with potential to improve. There's a lot of goalies that are going to want that spot. A lot of goalies will be looking to take over that net in the post-Jacob Markstrom world. It'll be interesting to see who emerges, but Yegarov will definitely be right there as well with Poulter, Dawes, Jacob Malik, Tyler Brennan. Yanni Gord for center. I would take him as well. I mean, listen, you guys there's tons of names. Almost any name you throw out in this realm, there's tons of guys that would improve the team. Now, again, I think Fitz is going to probably inquire with a bunch of teams and kind of see which ones, in terms of the cap space, what their contract makes sense, what assets we have to give up, and kind of maneuver from there. But I think there is no shortage of guys that would improve this team for the playoffs. And you guys are naming a bunch of guys, that I think for the most part, most of them would be a welcome addition and a welcome improvement for the Devils. It's just all going to come down to what do these pieces cost, and how could we bring one of these guys in without gutting the roster? SJ, I was thinking Merce at 2C, happy they are trying it. Yeah, you got to try it. When you have a guy like him who's played center before, you have options with the injuries. Let's give it a whirl and see what we got. Justin, Gordy and Tuck gives this team a big jump. Find someone to take Palat, Tatar, Mercer. Palat's not going anywhere this year, guys. I hate to tell you. It's not going to happen for this season. I do think it's investigated a potential buyout or maybe some other sort of package trade in the offseason. I would be stunned if something is done with Palat during the season. I think, it's a lot of pipe dreams. But Tuck and Gordy would be great. I would love something like that. I was saying, again, I don't know if these guys are going to be available, but that's kind of along the same lines of, actually, I like that combo better. But I would have even been happy with, what were the two guys I said before? Evans and Frederick. Any two pieces like this, but I do think Tuck has some of the most, has maybe the highest upside compared to a lot of the other names being thrown around, because I do think you bring Tuck here and all of a sudden he's on a team looking to win a cup, that could be a shot in the arm. And especially playing with a guy like Jack, I think that could definitely, wake him up and kind of get him playing at another level. I would love him again. If he's truly getting shopped, I think teams are going to be floating first rounders for a lot of these guys. Corey, Brock Nelson, I also think could be a sneaky good ad. I agree there as well. I don't know that Uncle Lou is going to try to do the Devils any favors to improve the roster. I do think Lou thoroughly enjoys the fact that the Devils haven't done much since he's left, but I could be wrong. If we blow him away with an offer, it's possible. But Brock Nelson, I don't think is going to be a cheap acquisition either. Another guy that if he's getting shopped, which I still think there's a chance the Islanders want to keep him. I'm not as convinced as many people that he's going to be gone, but maybe the Islanders have had talks with him and they realize that they don't want to pay him what he's going to be looking for. He's going to be unrestricted free agent. And so if they don't think the possibility of him being re-signed is there at a number they like, they will cash him in. Jason, no, it's going to be rough tonight on the PK and the dot. Woodson, continued dream moves. No one wants our garbage. I agree with that as well. Corey, also, I know they've had talks about bringing back Kovacevic, but with Nemitz and Casey so close to being ready, would it make sense to try and trade Kovacevic while his stock is at a high? Two different schools of thinking, Corey. A lot of people are obsessed with the asset management and blah, blah, blah. And I'll be honest, I think getting obsessed with asset management is how you constantly keep looking to the future and never put your chips in and win. What we saw Carolina do the other night, that's like, here are the chips. We're all in. Rantanen, Taylor Hall, run it. We're going for a cup. Ballsy move. Now, I think there is kind of a happy medium between that and sitting with your hands in your pockets or continuing to play the asset management game, talking about the future. But at some point, the future is now. I believe we've already been there for the Devils. And so for me personally, I would not want to move Kovacevic. I personally value him long-term, and I definitely value him for a playoff run. Tinkering with the defense at this stage of the game, I think would be catastrophic. And even if we knew we were going to lose him, I think I would rather still keep him. But I do think this should be one of the biggest priorities for Fitz because there are so many other things attached to it. Meaning, if he's not going to re-sign, that might be the battery in Fitz's back to trade him, and he'll just say, oh, I'll get whatever I can for him, and then I'll replace him immediately with Nemitz or whoever. I think it's a bad idea, but I could see that happening. I'm hoping he's just re-signed long-term soon. But a lot of people will say, with what you wrote there, they should trade Kovacevic, get a pick for him, and then replace him in the lineup with whoever. And I get that. I just value Kovacevic a lot and want him to be part of the defense for the near future because I think he brings an element that not many of our other defenders will. He is a little nasty. He is big. And he's pretty responsible. And so I like him a lot. I think he fits a win-now team more so than Nemitz does. But it's two different schools of thinking, and you're going to get varying opinions on the subject. I personally would rather have Kovacevic. Woodson, one of either Nemitz, Siegs, or Kova are gone. Can't afford them all. Out of that grouping, I would prefer to move on from Siegenthaler. Jay Snow, Toffoli went for what last year? A second and a third? Yeah, I was shocked at the Devils. I thought Fitzy was definitely going to be able to get a first for him. Kind of crazy that he couldn't. Jay Snow, Carolina's been pushing for a cup. Unfortunately, we're not even a consistent playoff team. Okay. Well, we should have been in the playoffs last year. Chico, to be honest, in regards to the defense, I'm 100% on team don't rock the boat. I don't move anyone on the defense right now until Nemitz or Casey undeniably earn a spot. I agree. The defense was so bad last year. It finally has been pretty damn good this year. And I am not making any changes personally. I'm keeping the pairings the way they are, and I'm not doing nothing. Jay Snow, Dougie was bad in Montreal. He's got to stay responsible tonight. SJ, I pick Kova or Siegs, but our best prospects are right-handed. Seamus Casey can play both sides, as we've already seen. Woodson, because Dougie is a house, it takes a lot to get 6'6" up to speed in the NHL. Justin, trading Dougie would be a huge move. Got a feeling Fitzy won't take that step, but it would 100% benefit. I'm not on team trade Dougie either. I mean, people get down on him a lot, but the reality is he generates a ton of offense. And just remember back to last year, not too long ago, how much the team struggled overall when Dougie went down. I do think people are sleeping on Dougie's value to the team. And I think a lot of people will recognize that and miss him when he's gone. Justin C. Jason, no, I'm sorry, but we were a complete ass last year. No way we should have made the playoffs. If we had a real goalie, we would have been a playoff team. I fully believe that. And I believe if we got one even in February, if Jake Allen or Kakinen or any average goalie came to the Devils by February, I believe we would have made a push for a wild card. Now, I'm not saying we would have won the cup, but I think we would have made the playoffs. But all right, MSG is about to go on the air, guys. Appreciate all of you for coming out for the pre-pregame live. I don't do these too often, but I felt in the mood to do it today. Got some injury news. We got some lineup changes and blah, blah, blah. And hopefully the Devils come out with a big victory tonight in Philadelphia. And that's it. Hopefully we're all celebrating after the game. I'll be back soon. Post-game live, guys. Be on around 10:15. Thank you all for coming out. Hit that thumbs up on the way out. And let's go Devils. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go